was December 25th, 1889, when I arrived with my wife, Gloria Allenson, in the misty lowlands of Southeast Asia for our Christmas vacation. As our small private plane landed on the dirt strip, I quickly realized our time in that degenerate hell which the gods rejected would not be the relaxing trip we imagined. A frantic party of natives ran to meet me as I disembarked from the aircraft, chittering excitedly in their obnoxious native tongue. From what I knew of the nonsensical language, I pieced together that they had sought me out on account of my unblemished record as a friggin' hardcore big game hunter. They told me that a tiger had taken to man-eating, and over the past 6 weeks, it had performed nightly raids on their village. It had taken and devoured 1,400 men. I knew well that a tiger, once established in man-eating, would never stop. I resolved then to help these desperate creatures, and sent my wife on to the hotel, with the confident promise, "I'll be along shortly." We set off at once into the thick growths of bamboo, and I quickly spotted the tracks of a large tiger. For many hours we tracked it, until at last we found the brute underneath a blossoming cherry tree. It spotted us, and roared menacingly. It went down with only 49 shots, but as we examined the contents of its stomach, we found that this was not the beast we were after. Its belly contained only the normal fare for a carnivore of the region, such as bison and giant squid. Not the whole human brains one would find in the gut of a man-eater. Suddenly, the sun set, and we were forced to make camp from the hide of the beast. We erected tents and slept, only fitfully. As for pillows, we had nothing but gravel, and for covers we had only woven strands of poison ivy. We awoke the next morning at dawn and shook the dew from our stiff bodies. I thought briefly of my wife, how she would soon be awakening on a rich bed in lavish hotel room. She would no doubt be laughing at my discomfort. I cursed her under my breath, and we set off. Before long, we found evidence in the jungle that the creature had stricken again in the night. A blood-soaked clearing proved that our tiger had taken another victim from a nearby village, but all that remained of him was a leg, which stared up at us with glassy, dead eyes. Suddenly, we heard frantic screams coming from the village. We dashed out from the bamboo cover into the shanty town, and there was the very man-eater we sought. He had chased all the women and children in the village up a tree, and now prowled around beneath waiting for them to fall in exhaustion. The creature was a horrific sight, surpassing even the most dreadful chimera I had witnessed dancing before my mind's eye in the opium-induced fevers I often found myself in. It stood 11 feet high at the shoulder, and from its mockingly human face 8 crimson eyes glared shockingly. The creature spotted us and roared in menacing fury. I fired at once, but the creature dodged deftly to one side, and my bullet struck the tree ineffectually. With shocking speed, the creature bit off the head of one of my companions, and spat at me like a projectile, already reduced to a skull by the powerful digestive saliva of the beast. I avoided the missile, and it struck another of my heathenistic companions, rendering him dead. I fired again, and my bullet found its mark in one of the creature's eyes. It wailed terribly in pain, and reared onto its hind legs. I shot at its exposed underbelly, and one of my rounds struck the creature's heart. With a moan, it slumped to one side and was still. I strode up to the fallen monster and rolled it over with my rifle. "It's dead," I called to the captives of the tree. "Big game," I added, turning to the creature, pumping 5 more rounds into its skull. "Consider yourself hunted."